शिवसेना है, अभी अजीत पवार को कहाँ पे लाएंगे, कब लाएंगे, मगर आपने एक ऑप्शन रखा हुआ है इन द फ्यूचर। नहीं तो आप अभी तक, मैंने आपको अगर 7 सवाल पूछे, आप अभी तक बोल देते कभी नहीं होगा, मगर आपने नहीं कहा। यू लेफ्ट द ऑप्शन ओपन।
क्यों नहीं बोला मैंने इसलिए नहीं बोला कि एक ज़माना ये था कि जब मैं ये कहता था हम जिंदगी में एनसीपी के साथ नहीं जाएंगे, लेकिन 2019 में मुझे उनके साथ जाना पड़ा। पॉलिटिक्स में चीज़ें रूल आउट नहीं की जाती, लेकिन पॉलिटिक्स में चीज़ें परिस्थिति से तय होती है।
आप कह रहे शरद पवार डबल गेम खेलते हैं?
खेला है,
आपके साथ डबल गेम खेला, बीजेपी के साथ शरद पवार ने डबल गेम
खेला। उस समय उन्होंने वैसा किया जो मैंने कहा। आप इसको किस फ्रेमवर्क में डिफाइन करना चाहते हैं मैं आप पर छोड़ता हूं, लेकिन मैं इतना कहता हूं कि अजित पवार और मैं अचानक उठकर सुबह शपथ लेने के लिए नहीं गए। ये तय हुआ था कि हम साथ में मिलकर करेंगे, हम दोनों को जिम्मेदारी दी गई थी, उस हिसाब से हमने सारी चीज़ें की थी। एट वन फाइन मोमेंट पवार साहब उसमें से हट गए और फिर अजित पवार वॉज लेफ्ट विथ नो अल्टरनेटिव देन टू कम विथ मी, क्योंकि हम लोग तैयारी पूरी कर ली थी। वो तो एक्सपोज हो जाते, वो तो खत्म हो जाते, तो इसलिए अजित पवार ने और हमने शपथ ली और फिर कोर्ट में जो हुआ वो भी आप लोगों ने देखा। लेकिन उस समय सरकार बनाने का जो प्रयास हमने किया था उसकी शुरुआत पवार साहब से बातचीत करके ही हुई थी।
आप कह रहे हैं शरद पवार डबल गेम खेलते हैं?
खेला है। पवार साहब हमारे साथ थोड़ी चुनकर आए थे, उन्होंने हमारा उपयोग किया, स्ट्रेटेजी की और एक प्रकार से हम लोगों को मिसलीड करके वो निकल गए। डबल प्लेइंग जिसको कह सकते हैं।
ही गोष्ट खरी आहे, त्याच्यात त्यांनी अनेक गोष्टीची चर्चा केली, ही गोष्ट खरी आहे, पण त्यांनी स्वतःच सांगितलंय का की या
Trending burning question powered by Reva University, NECC and Century Ply.
Hello, welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavin Sen. Yet another episode where we put the focus on what's happening in West Bengal. Less than 24 hours to West Bengal to go for the Panchayat polls, but there's no end to violence in Bengal. More bombs were recovered just a day ahead of the polls. Not only this, while the blame game remains intact, Trinamool Congress has now issued a threat of violence, saying if we wanted, more people would have been killed. Now the question persists, who is exactly responsible for Bengal violence and who has essentially failed Bengal? Who is responsible for this bloodbath? This is the question we asked to those political panelists even yesterday. Who is responsible for this bloodbath? And not only that, about 17 lives have been lost. Till date, there is no accountability. Not for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that we are seeing a situation like this unfolding in the state of West Bengal. Take a look at this ground report and then we begin the trending burning question.
Just hours to go for the West Bengal Panchayat polls and violence continues in the state of West Bengal. In the last 48 hours only, at least 6 acts of violence have been reported. In Jalpaiguri, a BJP leader's car was attacked. In Birbhum, BJP candidate's husband has been killed. In Nattabari, 2 active bombs have been found near a BJP worker's house. In Kuch Bihar's Dinhata, 2 Congress workers have been attacked. In Murshidabad, TMC candidates have been attacked. In Deganga, CPM and ISF workers clashed with TMC workers. West Bengal governor himself visited the violence-hit areas in Murshidabad.
So my only request after seeing the field is, please go tomorrow, all voters, exercise your vote freely, fearlessly. That alone will give the answers to the problems which you are facing now. Yes, if this is a fight between bullet and the ballot has to win.
BJP is showing mistrust in the state police and has written to State Election Commission against the DGP.
बहुत सेंसिटिव एरिया है मुर्शिदाबाद और उसी जगह में जहां पर सबसे ज्यादा वायलेंस की खबर आया है उस जगह में गवर्नर खुद जा रहे हैं ग्राउंड जीरो से देख रहे हैं कि लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन क्या सिचुएशन है ग्राउंड जीरो का खुद जाके गवर्नर सीवी आनंद बोस देख रहे हैं.
The situation is such that Calcutta High Court has ordered central forces to remain in the state for 10 more days after the declaration of election results. Over a dozen of lives lost only in the campaigning. Polling's tomorrow and more violence is anticipated after the results. Who is stoking the fire in Bengal and who has failed Bengal? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, joining us on the trending burning question tonight, Shaturupa from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Professor Manojit Mandal and Nikhil Jain is joining us from the studio. Professor Mandal, few instances that I would like to read it out for you, just to remind you that this is actually happening in the very state from where you're currently broadcasting from. 17-year-old class 11 student. If you remember his name, Professor Mandal, his name is Imran Hassan. The killing takes place in Deganga in West Bengal's North 24 Parganas, where crude bombs were hurled, not one. Incident number 1, I'm just referring because this is the latest. Then you have on 5th of July, 17-year-old teenager, similar sort of incident takes place. And then the list goes on. 17 lives have been lost, Professor Mandal. Please, will you acknowledge the fact that this is a reality and not for the first time? It has happened in the previous Panchayat elections and perhaps now, and if I can play that out for you, one of your leaders from Bhangar actually says that, look here, if we wanted to fight, this would have been a bloodbath. It's almost like, we have done nothing about it.
150 lives have been lost in Manipur. Your minister's house was burned down. People are crying every
Professor
other day for
Professor
food,
Mandal, as far as
shelter.
Manipur is concerned, no, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The problem here tonight is that I'm in no mood. Professor Mandal, I'm in no mood. If you want to deviate, I'll tell you what. Please come tomorrow for another debate as far as Manipur is concerned. And if you want to only speak about Manipur, I'm also willing to do that. I'm also willing to do that. I have no problems in raising questions as far as what is happening in Manipur. But the reality is that 17 lives have been lost in the state of West Bengal. Who's answerable? Please tell me.
Cannot control.
Who's responsible for it?
You cannot integrate.
No, once again. As far as Manipur, is the debate about Manipur? Is the debate about Manipur? And who's told you? And Professor Mandal, you may be ill-informed. But I have raised those very questions when it comes to Manipur. The very fact that arms and ammunition have disappeared in the state of Manipur has been questioned. But the fact of the matter is, where does the crude bombs come from? Please tell me, where does the crude bomb come from? A 17-year-old has lost his life. Please tell me, who is responsible for it?
Debate on the prime time show.
17-year-old Professor Mandal, you may continue with your politicking. You may want to win every panchayat elections, every gram panchayat you may want to win. But tonight, please tell me, if a 17-year-old has lost his life, who is exactly responsible for it?
This boy, very unfortunately, was killed by the CPM goons. The violence in Bengal is happening because of
now it is CPM.
ISA, Congress, and their leader by the name of Anand, whatever his name, Anand Bose. He is responsible along with Shubhendu Adhikari and others for the violence. Every other day, this
is a constitutional head, first of all. Professor Mandal, you may want to. You may want to do it.
Talking about the governor of West Bengal.
You may want to question the governor. When the governor, no, once again,
He has gone
just
to
a short while back, before I
and
entered
to
the studio,
process,
I was listening to one of your leaders,
This
Mr. Madan
person
Mitra.
has been
No, one
destroying
second.
the
Now,
university
the
education
problem here is
system
that
and sitting now
when
by
people are basically
recruiting his
ill-informed.
ladies as
Now,
vice
Mr. Madan Mitra actually
This
says that why is the
person
governor
exceeding
campaigning
the
for the
limits of
Bharatiya
law
Janata
and
Party?
constitution,
Please, for heaven's sake,
and
what is it
he
that the
must
governor
be
has said?
condemned.
And what is wrong in when the governor
Violence is
says
happening in
that this is an
Bengal.
election
TMC
between
is on the
versus
firing line
bullet
because of BJP,
bullet
Congress,
versus
CPM,
ballot?
ISF,
Please tell
and
me
the
what was
left
wrong in it.
leader in the name
What was
of
wrong in it? Please tell me.
Anand Bose.
Please tell me what was wrong in it. Is it not a reality? Shatarupa, why don't you respond? Shatarupa, the question goes on. No, even don't worry, Professor Mondal. I am saying that when a 17-year-old has lost his life, then someone is accountable, and that someone is you.
Country every other day.
So Monojit Mondal would have the decency, he generally doesn't. So if you can have the, lower his volume, then I can open my mouth. Because I have very pointed statements to make.
No, Shatarupa, tonight let's be very clear about one thing. Tonight, it's not about civility here. Shatarupa, you have come to many of my debates, but the fact of the matter is that tonight I'll tell you, everyone who comes from that state, everyone who comes from who has spent a little time in that state will actually tell you, we are done with it. We are done with this violence.
Absolutely.
You may want to keep questioning about it, but what is it that you are actually delivering?
I am going to answer
For how long will you continue? Now, one second. Please tell me, one second. Shatarupa, please, they say CPM, who exactly? One second. Please tell me how many of your cadres, Professor Mondal, if you are talking about CPM goons, some of those very goons are in your party. And can I actually, I'm not saying Shatarupa will also answer this, even her party has got it. But can you actually deny it? Can you actually deny that those goons are not in your party?
9 of our people have been killed by them. And the governor, quote unquote governor, with a colored conscience, never ever has gone to visit these people. He is only playing politics. He's condemning his own
okay,
state
Shatarupa.
election commission.
Yes, I don't think so, Shatarupa. The governor. One second. When every time, you have a problem, Professor Mondal. You want to raise a question as far as Shatarupa is concerned and her party is concerned. I have no problem. You are raising questions about unconstitutional authority. You are raising questions about a constitutional authority. There is a right forum to do so. This is not the forum, first of all. I don't see a problem when you have the governor raising concerns about what's happening in the state. A constitutional authority a constitutional head has the authority to raise these concerns. And I see no reason. And I'll tell you, Professor Mondal, this is not only during the Panchayat elections. Professor Mondal, let me remind you that even during the Lok Sabha elections, that's exactly what has happened. So ask Shatarupa. Shatarupa, please tell me. Deny this. In the parliamentary constituency of your supreme leader, hasn't it happened in the presence of Central Armed Forces? That Central Armed Forces have been attacked. Tell me, has it not happened?
Exactly.
Has it not happened? Please tell me.
Thank you so much for bringing this up.
It has happened. Professor Mondal, it has happened in front of my eyes. It has happened in front of my eyes.
The party that is ruling the state and the election
Oh, please give that moral lecture to someone else, Professor Mondal. Tonight, when you go back home, I doubt. For heaven's sake, you may win the elections. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is that people have lost their lives. You will forget them. You will do nothing about them. That's the problem. That's the reality today.
Shonak, may I now, please? May I now talk? If you can just keep him quiet for 2 seconds.
Please go ahead. Shatarupa, please respond. Shatarupa, go ahead.
Bengal violence.
Shatarupa, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
There is only one person who is singularly responsible for allowing this amount of violence in West Bengal, and that is the State Election Commissioners, Rajiv Sinha, who runs on the Anuprerana of the Honorable Chief Minister of West Bengal. You must have been doing these shows for a very long time. 19 murders in 26 days. There's innumerable cases of mental harassment, fear, psychosis. rampant violence, bombs galore, breakage, arson. There's
No,
just no
one
end to
second.
this. Even today evening,
No, the problem
there was
here is,
violence.
you know,
So much so,
Professor
the people
Mondal,
who will conduct
Professor
the
Mondal,
votes,
Professor
the
Mondal,
government
let me also
employees
tell you
have
this.
fleeing
No,
the state
Shaturupa,
election.
one factual. No, factual error here. Factual error here. Professor Mondal, please tell me. The area that governor visited, and can you actually deny if you would, then let me tell you, you've got your facts completely wrong. The governor has also visited the family of a Trinamool Congress worker.
Two.
First of all, you know, it is not only about the governor's
people.
action here,
Two
but I'm
Trinamool
still
family.
asking you this question. Haven't Trinamool workers lost their lives? Haven't Trinamool workers lost their lives?
Yes.
And today the
Because of
visit that has
Shubhendu
happened
Adhikari
has
and
also happened
ISA.
in a place,
Because of
just to remind you,
CPI
I'll give you the
and
exact
Congress.
details, just to
Yes.
remind you, because I did not tell you this, I did not tell you this a short while back, because all that I wanted is that how long will you politicize it? How long will you politicize it?
By the name of
Now let me also tell you, the goons that you are referring to, what is it that your chief minister had to say? What is it that your chief minister had to say? What is it that your chief minister had to say? Can I just exactly verbatim quote the honorable chief minister, the honorable chief minister of West Bengal? Should I quote her? Should I quote and remind you what did she say? Now please tell me. When the chief minister of a state is openly saying that I give you full freedom, go and slap the person, please tell me what exactly does that mean? Please tell me what does that mean? I will ask the same question from Shaturupa. Her leaders are also culpable at some level, but please tell me, I'm talking about the chief minister of a state.
Sukanta Majumdar said yesterday.
Of course,
What did Mr.
please,
Sukanta
Professor
Majumdar say
Mondal,
yesterday?
if you think I'm not going to
What
ask
did-
that question,
what
please,
did Mr.
but that
Subramanian
does not
say?
absolve you. That does not absolve you, your party, from answering basic, simple
What is
questions.
Mr. Anand Bose is doing?
If you
every
think you
other
will
day?
get away, if you think you will get away, by not answering a single, because lives don't matter. Lives don't matter. Simply lives don't matter, because what will happen? I'll tell you this. You will, with your muscle power, with muscle power, money power, whatever you would want. You know,
Why is it demoralizing the election commission? Why is it demoralizing the election commission?
I-
The election
if-
commission is trying
no
to
problem.
conduct the election.
No
Is
problem.
calling,
Is
them calling,
Mr.
Why?
Is the
Why?
governor
Why
is the
does he
governor
have
of
this
West
power
Bengal
from?
responsible for 17 deaths in your state?
The power from
Okay, Professor
the
Mondal,
State
please,
Election
let's-
Commission. I want to know. Show me the
Who
power
exactly
of
is
the
responsible?
What
Now
is
you
the
wanted-
power to
who exactly is
delegate
responsible?
some people to act
Who
as
exactly is
vice chancellor?
responsible?
He has appointed an ex-chief justice.
I won't be
as vice
surprised tomorrow. You may just wake up.
Shame on him.
You know, tomorrow you will.
Shame on him.
Tomorrow you
He
may
has
wake up.
appointed an ex-
Tomorrow you may wake up
ex-judge
and say
of
Julius
Karnataka
Caesar
High
is
Court.
responsible
He
for
has
it.
appointed an ex-judge of Karnataka High Court as
No, no.
as
You know, at the
Minister of
rate you are
State
going,
in the
Professor
post
Mondal,
of
there is no
vice
point.
chancellor.
You
Where
know,
does he derive the power from?
the
Show me
anger,
the power, Mr. Governor.
you know.
Show me the power,
No,
Mr.
Professor Mondal,
Chancellor.
I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised. Tomorrow, if you say, look here, it is.
University.
He speaks nonsense.
Figure out, you'll come out with some historical
He
figuring
is
to actually
acting
hold
as
them
an
responsible.
unelected
Shaturupa,
autocrat,
let me then
and
ask you
that's
this question
why
also.
violence is
The
happening in Bengal.
the entire debate is not about the Bengal government. I also have Nikhil. Now, he's from leading towards the Congress party. Now the
Let
question
him
here is
join
that there is a
BJP.
bizarre situation that is also
Other
happening,
states do not have
Shaturupa.
any
There are
problem.
reports that have
Fighting
there are
the
reports that are emerging. There are reports that are emerging that there is an understanding. There is an understanding that the Congress party led by Mr. Adhiranjan in West Bengal, and the Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party, there seems to be some sort of an understanding. Shaturupa, why don't you answer this question? Are you in a position right now where you feel a little desperate because you need to get into some sort of a tie-up with the CPM because there is a transfer of votes that have happened? Let's understand in Lok Sabha elections that there was a transfer of votes that have happened to your party. You're hoping that that entire system, that entire formula is going to work for you this time too.
No. Shaunak, one has to understand very clearly. BJP is one party which does not want to get into any kind of understanding or setting, as they're calling it, with anybody. But what our leaders are repeatedly saying is we are all against the Trinamool in our own way, in our own field. So that is, if that Trinamool wants to conspire as an understanding, I really cannot say anything, because Trinamool clubs us as the opposition. So when they want to list the number of nominations submitted, they will say the opposition submitted some 1 lakh, out of which we have singularly BJP has sent in nominations for very many more, about I think 55,000 we put in our nomination, only BJP. Now, as far as our understanding concept is going, no, there is no understanding with any other party. I just want to make it very, very clear. And what you're saying about the transfer of votes, you see, West Bengal has experienced the rule of the Congress, has stuttered under the rule of 37-year-old CPM government. And now they have seen, they had big hopes that there would be a Poriborton, which didn't happen for the last 12 years. And they're quite fed up. They're willing to now, I think, give a chance to BJP, which I hope they do, will be allowed to serve the people of West Bengal.
No,
now, this is
but Chaturuppa,
Trinamool has
I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. But I don't have enough time. But Chaturuppa, if you think you are the best alternative, if you think you were the best alternative, then that you also should have answered this question. Are you in any way connected to those bomb factories that are operating in the state of West Bengal? If you're not, then you should have made a statement long back. But the fact of the matter is that there has been no statement, no clear statement really coming out from your political party also.
You're not allowing me to talk. This is not fair.
But I'll tell you what.
On a show and you're allowing half the time to Monojit.
I would surely give you enough time.
We are not involved with any of this.
No, Chaturuppa, you can make your point.
This is a very wrong accusation that you're taking.
No, you please feel. I've asked you the question. Why don't you respond? I don't respond. I'll give Nikhil the last word. He's also waiting patiently. Chaturuppa, please bear with me. Chaturuppa, bear with me. Okay, Chaturuppa, bear with me. I also have one more guest in the studio. I have also Professor Mondal. I'll give you the chance. Hold on, Chaturuppa, just make your point. Make your point.
Talking nonsense about the state head of West Bengal. He's been abusing. You're allowing this to happen on your channel, which is a national channel, and then you tell me that I did not make a statement.
No, Chaturuppa, I have asked enough number of questions over Professor Mondal. Why don't you quickly make your point? Chaturuppa, Professor Mondal, I'm requesting you, please hold on. Hold your horses now. Professor Mondal, you've had the opportunity. Tonight the fight was directly with me, Professor Mondal. It was not even Chaturuppa, because the fact of the matter is that as someone who's been in that state for a long time, anyone would have been aggrieved. But the fact of the matter is, Chaturuppa, why don't you make your point? Chaturuppa, I get it. Professor Mondal, please don't interrupt. Let her make her point.
No, we have not been involved with any kind of unruly behavior.
I'll tell you one thing.
Ever.
You are still welcome in your own state, in my state. Doesn't give you license.
Professor
every other day.
Mondal, why don't you just allow her to make her point? Professor Mondal, no one likes to malign anyone. The fact of the matter is that when we are stating the hard truth, it becomes difficult to digest. I understand that. Chaturuppa, I'm really running short of time. Why don't you make your point? I need to give some time to Nikhil also.
Same to BJP about Manipur.
If you allow me to, I've been waiting to make my point. I am telling you again.
Please go ahead, Chaturuppa. Please make your point. Please make your point.
BJP is not involved with any kind of violence in any kind of bomb factory that you're accusing us of. We have not been inciting any comments, any violence with anybody. We want a peaceful atmosphere where people of West Bengal will be allowed to vote. Whoever they may vote for. I mean, if Trinamool is constantly crying out that we have done so much of Unnayan, then they should now be relaxed and allowing the people to vote on the basis of their Unnayan. If at all they've done something, which they haven't done. And they are now, the new narrative of Trinamool is that
I'm really running short of time. Just 30 seconds. Why don't you make your point? You've heard both the sides. Just make a quick point. Chaturuppa, I'm sorry because I need to give him, he's been waiting. Nikhil has also been in the studio for a very long time. Nikhil, you've heard both sides.
First of all, it's very condemnable.
Both sides, but the fact of the matter is that the accusation is that there is a tacit understanding. And that is the reason why perhaps the authorities have been scot-free. Go ahead.
I don't know what tacit understanding can be there between the Congress and the BJP. If there are two political parties in the country that are at each other's throat the most, it is the Congress and the BJP. So far as the violence is concerned, it's absolutely condemnable. May peace be upon the people who have departed and condolences to their families. And of course, we need to hold to account people who are responsible for maintaining law and order in the state, be it the governor, the chief minister, the home minister. And Shravan, what you're doing today is absolutely the right thing, to question a chief minister who's failing to maintain law and order in a state.
Well, in fact,
with that, I would just like to preface it that Bengal has a long history of political violence.
Sides. Tonight I'm questioning both sides. I've questioned Professor Mondal, I've questioned Chaturupa too, because the fact of the matter is that this is not about just politics. This is about the life. It's about innocent lives, and someone needs to answer. That's all that we could pack in this edition of Trending Burning Question. On the other side, the big debate with Arnab Goswami.
आप कह रहे हैं शरद पवार डबल गेम खेलते हैं।
खेला है। पवार साहब हमारे साथ थोड़ी चुनकर आए थे, उन्होंने हमारा उपयोग किया, स्ट्रेटेजी की, और एक प्रकार से हम लोगों को मिसलीड करके वो निकल गए। डबल प्लेइंग जिसको कह सकते हैं।
ही गोष्ट खरी आहे, त्याच्यात त्यांनी अनेक गोष्टीची चर्चा केली, ही गोष्ट खरी आहे, पण त्यांनी स्वतःच सांगितलंय का की या संबंधीचं धोरण मी बदललं 2 दिवस, आणि ते 2 दिवसांनी मी धोरण बदललं.
2019 सालं मी देवेंद्र फडणवीस सगळी चर्चा झाली.